This is Multi-Topic Talk. Today I bring you the long review of Metroid Dread. I know in the background this is not Metroid Dread music, this is Advance Wars music, but I don't know if Dread music is copyright, so I will use Advance Wars music to not get claimed. So with that out of the way, I hope guys will enjoy. This is like the episode 2 of my review. I already posted the shorter review for any curious people. And as you can see, I have the accent. But I am, just like you, a Metroid fan. So who cares at that point? I hope you will enjoy my long review of the game. I structured many points I will go over during this review. So have a snack, have a drink, and sit and look at the gameplay I had post game while searching for new items. Yes, I'm not amazing, but at least you got something in the background, right? Before I go any further, I will also mention the fact that I played all Metroid games. However, the only games I owned were the Prime Trilogy. So these are the only games I finished. I also finished Other M. And I did not finish Prime 3, but I played a bit of Prime 3. So I will be speaking a lot of the Prime Trilogy. Because Metroid Dread, I know it's not the sequel, but that's the point of comparison, if we can call it that way. So my experience with the game will be different than yours, because I played a lot of Metroid Prime, and coming to Dread, I expected something similar. I know it was 2D, and that's okay. I knew that for the get-go, but Dread and Metroid Prime both have a lot in common, and I feel like a lot of aspects the previous game had, like Prime Trilogy, are not as amazing in Dread. And this is where my first point goes, the music. So I don't know what they were thinking with Metroid Dread. The music is not impressive. It's nice, it's cool to have some music, and in the MI zone when the MI runs after you, there's a lot of tension and you can tell with the music, and this is great. But most of the teams, you forget about them in this game. The only team that really sticks in my mind is the the team that occurs when a MI find you, or when you need to kill the MI. This is the only music I remember about Metroid Dread. There's also the music in the menu, so it's really hard to say. Like the music in the menu, nice music, I like it. The tension brought by the music, the MI zone are fun. Now, I don't like MI, but there's an entire point for MIs later on. But the thing is, the music was still impressive. I liked it a lot. And even if I did not like the MIs, I liked the way that the music pressure you. And the feeling of dread is there. Like, you can feel you're playing Metroid Dread when you're in a MI zone. And now, I spoke about Prime Trilogy. Now let's take a look to Metroid Prime. Prime, there's a lot of team you always remember. The Magmar Cavern, the Phendrana Drift. These are the main teams you got. And the Phazon Mine. The music in the Phazon Mine is almost non-existent. And there's a lot of sound effect in Phazon Mine, and you don't feel good when you're in the Phazon Mine, and I think that was the intent. So you see in Metroid Prime, because it's mainly Prime I'm speaking about, I will always remember the music. Metroid Dread, I don't remember the music. So you see, in Metroid Prime, they did music more justice, if we can say. Now, I'm not speaking about Prime 2 or Prime 3, because let's be honest, these two games, I also forgot their soundtrack. Mainly because I played a lot more Prime than the other ones. Maybe that's why I remember the music. But even there, once I will get into Prime 2, maybe that will refresh my memory on the soundtrack. I don't know. Like, even if I go back to Dread a few months from now, nothing will be refreshed because, as I said, the music is something you can forget about. But I also must say, at least Dread has music. Because there are some games they don't care, they just don't give you music. Dread has music. So it's not the best music ever, but it's music. They still put the work in it. Point number 3 of this review, the story. Now, the story is pretty basic. Samus get a mission. She needs to destroy the planet where the X has been found because she's the only one that can because of her Metroid DNA obtained in Fusion. So far, story pretty basic, interesting. They worked on the story as well, and as you keep going in the game, you discover a lot of stuff like the Chozo. The Chozo have two faction, if we can say, the good one and the bad one, like any other games. Like there's the good guy and the bad guys, and for once in this game, you have allies, just like Metroid Prime 2. You had allies in Metroid Prime 2. You have allies in Metroid Dread, in the good Chozo. Now you also discover the purpose of the Metroid, being the worst enemy of the X. That makes sense. This is very interesting. And as the story progresses, you slowly become a Metroid yourself. And by the end of the game, you became a Metroid. And you also discover that, spoiler alert, spoiler alert, spoiler alert, Adams is not Adams. For the entire game, you have been manipulated by the big bad in the game. And the big bad is probably the guy that created all these messy story among the 5 game in the Metroid series outside of Prime. And this is very interesting. I also like the fact that Samus, even if she don't really speak, the only time she speaks is in Chozo. What she says is very interesting, and there's a lot of personality in Samus. So this is interesting, and the body language of Samus during the entire game. You see, each time she is against a boss, she is sure of herself by her body language. She's like, I will take this piece of crap down. And you also see when they focus on the visor most of the time, you see she is scared. You see she is a human being, like underneath that helmet and that suit. And this is very interesting. Uh, Body language speaks a lot about her emotional state, and even they play even with this during the final battle. She fake her death, then when she wake up, she destroy her enemy, and that's also during the game. This game they also showcase that she is smart because she realized she's becoming a Metroid without Adam explaining anything. But of course, to make sure the player understands as well, at some point Adams tells you, yeah, you're becoming a Metroid. But even before these reveals, even before Adams tells us, the player, that she's becoming one, she slowly realizes she's becoming one. And this is very interesting. So story-wise, it's good. But I must say, story-wise, it's not my favorite Metroid game. My favorite Metroid game, story-wise, is either Corruption or Prime 2. Because Prime 2 is dark and light, and you realize that when you read the logs, you realize the Federation really got slapped around by the big bads, and you can feel the hate Samus has against the Ing, and this is very interesting, and they worked so much in the Prime 2 story, it was just great. And Prime 3, I did not finish the game, but I had a lot of plot in mind, and I've seen a lot of the game. Even if I was not personally able to finish the game because I got stuck early, I still seen other players playing the game. I still follow the story, and I can tell corruption is amazing. Like Dread is a new spin on that because on corruption, she's slowly starting to become corrupted, just like Dark Samus. And Phazon does that. Phazon change you, and this was a very interesting aspect of Prime 3. And she sees or follow Bounty Hunter falling to the dark side because of Phazon, and she's scared to become the next one. Now you see, in Dread, we can have some kind of parallel to that. She is scared to become a Metroid. So the story is good, but I'm leaning more toward Prime 3 and Prime 2. So the next point on the list is the level design and the level names. From the get-go, I won't be easy. I feel like most of the maps are the same. Most of the levels are the same. Ataris, Kataris, the only difference between these two is the lava in Kataris. And to be honest, sometime I was on one of the two and I was confused, I thought I was on the other one. So that's to give you an idea how all the level looks the same. Now I will be honest as well. Gavorian, one of the last few levels we discover, like half through the game or probably a bit further, Gavorian is the unique stage among all, but even there, outside of the background, most of the platform and the stuff there is the same as the other levels. Of course, there are frustrating part in Gavorian where the plant just removed the way so you lose the platform. So this is interesting and frustrating at the same time. But yeah, overall the level are, I will say fun, but they look all the same. And this is very sad, because when you play Metroid Prime 1, I won't say Prime 2, because Prime 2, all the levels look the same as well, but they played very differently. But if you go to Prime 1, Vendrana Drift felt different. Magmore Cavern felt different, even if Magmore Cavern was only the tunnel linking all part of the map. Magmore Cavern still felt like a distinct level. You go in the Chozo Room, same thing. You go in the Phazon Mine, it's different as well. You go in Talon Overworld, this is different. Now, if you take the map of Metroid Dread, it's the same. You go Kataris, Ataris, the only difference is the lava, but the level look like the same. Dayron is very similar to Kataris, but there's no lava in Dayron. It's more like electrical stuff. Ferraria, the same thing as Dayron. It's electrical stuff, but different. But it's similar. Like you can tell, they were a bit lazy in the background and the vibes they were giving to the map, and the fact that each level don't have like distinct music, they all look the same. I don't even remember if the music was different from Kataris to Dayron. I don't even remember these details about the game. And I played like 20 hours about Metroid Dread. So I don't even know if each level have their own music. When I go back to Prime, I know Magmar Cavern has music. I'm walking in Magmar Cavern Without the screen on, I know it's Magmore Cavern only by the music and the sounds of it. I walk in Findrana Drift, same thing. I walk to Artaria, well, it's Artaria, but maybe I'm confused and it's Guitarist or whatever, you know what I mean, right? Now, I must say, Burnia is very fun, but it's very similar to the other. The main difference is it's underwater most of the time, and as a level, I like it a lot. But my issue there is everything is slower because of the water, and because you get the gravity suit so late in the game. So this level, yes, it's fun, but the pacing of this level is atrocious for most of the game because you are slowed down by the water. Now the other level that feel interesting is the last one just before the fortress. I think it's Urbania or something like that. I liked it a bit. I guess this was fun, the background and the rain, and felt like Talon overall, but it's not. And there's the level that only has 4 upgrades. I think it's. Let me take a look to the list of level. Alon. This is what I was looking for. So Alon, it's the same level as like Dayron, Ataria, whatever. So I I mean they tried their best to make them different, but they are not that different. The major difference is like Catarius has lava and Burnia has water. Now I must point out to an elephant in the room, the objective and the pacing. You remember when I said in my short review I played around 17 hours? I must say I got lost for at least 7 hours. And I probably had like 4 hours of frustration against boss. So, like, the game itself is around 6 hours. But it took me 3 times that because I got lost. Because I did not know what to do in many points in the game. I needed to take a look to a guide. What the F am I supposed to do? And by the very end of the game, when I was basically collecting items, I discovered something in one of the menu. They tell us the objective, but it's so hard to find. I found that by accident once I was finished with the game. So this is to tell you, this game is confusing. Maybe I will be the only one that points this out, because maybe I'm just bad at that kind of game. But if I'm the only one, maybe someone else that played the game will live the same experience. He's just not a video maker, video creator, whatever. It's very confusing. In Metroid Prime and Metroid Prime 2, I don't remember Prime 3 having it, but I have not played enough of Prime 3, but I remember Prime 1 and 2. When you circle around for too long, when you're doing nothing and you have no progression, after a while, the map will show you hints on where to go. Now, the question is how to meet that hint, and this was interesting, and we did not add that in Dread. So this means if you're lost, you're on your own. Because Adams will only tell you once what to do. And like sometimes I was just mashing the button to skip what it was saying. Even if I should not do such thing. Like maybe if I listen to Adam all the time, maybe I would not be blocked that much. I don't know, but anyway, the fact that I could get confused on what to do and where to go is bad. In one of my parts, I thought I needed to be at Dayron. So I tried everything I could in Dayron for many minutes, I think even an hour, And at some point, I think I ended my stream and I said I would be back and I will know what to do. Well, in between stream, I needed to search on what to do and where to go. So I needed to find a guide. And this happened very often. And this really affected my experience in the game. Like, yes, the game is linear and they block you many paths, so you can't really explore, but sometimes you can explore enough to get lost because you just don't know what to do. And this is what was happening most of the time. Another sad thing about that is sometimes you go in a room, you move an object, that object won't move anymore after that. So sometimes you will block your own path in some part of levels. So sometimes maybe you block yourself from getting some power-ups and you don't even realize it. You don't even know it. So maybe my 58% run is just because I was unable to get certain power-ups at some place and some moment in the game. And this is another sign this game is not that impressive in terms of level design. Yes, the game is very fast-paced when you know what to do. I specify what to do because I did not know what to do for most of it. But when you know what to do, then it's simple, it's very fast paced, the levels are fun. The enemies, well, they are the same for most part. So this is not that great. This is actually really sad. Because when I remember Metroid Prime, each single level had its own creatures in it. Like some creatures were coming back in different levels, but most of the maps and most of the levels in Prime are different creature. Now I don't remember about Prime 2 because yes, I played a lot of Prime 2, but it's been so long. It's been like 12 or 13 years I have not played Prime 2. And I'm currently doing Prime 1 again because Prime 1 is a fun game. So I must say, like, in Magmar Cavern, you had lava creature. In Phase and Mine, it was mainly pirates. I don't remember creatures in Phase and Mines. Outside of Metroid, there was no creature in Phase and Mines. You go in Fendrana Drift, you have these creatures with ice surrounding them. And this is very interesting. Each level had its own creatures. I feel like in Metroid Dread, they became lazy. Most of the creatures fly, some are on the ground. They look the same, but their attacks are a bit different. And this is very sad. The two levels with different creatures is Gavorian and Burnia again. These two levels are interesting when you compare them to the other level. Next point, the items and the gameplay itself. Now I must speak about that. Too many enemies require parries. And I will get that. I will get back to this to another part of the video, the boss fights. But anyway, items. The new ones are the Phantom Cloak, basically the Ghost Cloak. I like it a lot, but it's so nerfed that sometimes it's getting really frustrating because you're in an MI zone, especially the final MI, when he sees you through walls. Your Phantom Cloak is not enough. I feel like they should have given us expansion for the Aeon abilities. And that could be an interesting item to add up to the game. So you can have a longer Aeon bar. So you can stay hidden longer. So you can dash more. Because the Flash Shift, I think that's the name. Flash Step. That one is very fun. But sadly, most of the time you can only do 2 in a row. And I feel like there's wasted potential there because maybe they could like extend it if you find expansion. That could be interesting. They would add up another thing to look for instead of just like 40 or 50 Messiah expansion, you get like 2 or 3 Aeon expansion, maybe 5 Aeon expansion. And I must speak about that, the Power Bomb. It's such a disappointment, it's the last item you get. Now, I have a theory on that. Maybe they thought the game would be longer, or maybe they did not add enough time to expand the game further. And another uh, end to this may be the empty space in the map, because when you take a look to the overall map of the map, the map of the game, the map of the world basically, and you see each level, there's the empty space on the right. I think it was above Kataris. There's a huge empty space. So my guess here, they plan on adding another level to the game. Maybe it will be a DLC, I don't know. Or maybe they just did not add the time before release to create that said level. So maybe the power bomb had more purpose than just finding new items. Because sadly, this is the only purpose of the power bomb. When you go back to Metroid Prime, the power bomb gives you access to many areas you need to go to progress in the game. So yes, you get it late in the game, but at least there's a point on getting it. Remove the power bomb from Metroid Dread, you can still finish the game. You can finish the game without the power bomb. Metroid Prime, you cannot do such thing because many areas are blocked. And this is truly a key in Metroid Prime, and that's why I prefer the power bomb in Metroid Prime over the power bomb in Dread. The power bomb in Dread is boring. Now, I think I spoke a lot about the items in general. What else? The grapple beam is very interesting, but due to the atrocious aiming in this game, because aiming is shit in this game, I will be honest there, aiming is shit in this game. I just don't understand how people can aim properly and fast. Speedrunner, you earned my respect. I cannot aim fast and shoot, because most of the time when I aim, I don't aim properly, first of all, and second, I cannot even move by aiming, and this is really wrong, because many bosses are going on a wall, and because there's no lock on, my aiming suck, and I struggle to beat some bosses because of that aiming. Regardless, the aiming is very sad, so sometimes using the grapple beam is really hard, and at some point I just stopped using the grapple beam. So this is very sad, because the grapple beam, I really liked it in the Prime trilogy. Prime 1 and 2, that was really useful to access some areas. In Prime 3, you could even remove shield from enemies with your grapple beam. Sadly, you cannot do that in Metroid Dread. Maybe it's gameplay limitation, I don't know, and I don't really care at that point. But the grapple beam in Metroid Dread, just like the power bomb, it's underused. Once you get your grapple beam, you use it a lot. But the moment you have access to several jump, like the screw attack, the space boot, or the double jump, or whatever you call it, the moment you access these later game upgrades, you don't want to use the grapple beam anymore, because first of all, it's too slow and the aiming sucks. The Magnet Spider, the ability, one of the first few ability you earn is very useful. You can go on walls and ceiling, and this is amazing. I like it a lot. Great addition, especially in MI zone when you want to hide from that stupid robot. And another thing that is really appreciated is the visor that helps you seeing blocks. So this is interesting. This could have been more useful earlier in the game, but also broken maybe. That's why they did not do it. Another elephant in the room, the wave beam. This is really, really sad. You know why? The wave beam was such a great key and weapon in Prime. What they do with it in Dread? Well, it's one of the last weapon you get, and you barely use it. You barely use it. There's almost no use to it. All it does is open some doors you could not open before. And this is very sad because I remember the wave beam from Prime. You could activate doors, you could activate electrical stuff. Even on enemies, you felt like it was a different weapon. With pirates, you would taste them for a while until you spam him with missile or whatever you have. Speaking on missile, this game did something weird. The ice missile and the super missile. Basically, you got the regular missile for most of the game. Then, around after the game, you unlock the super missile. But, very fast, the super missile become useless because you unlock the ice missile. And this is really sad. Because they could have created different gimmick where some enemies or some doors need to be shot with the ice missile, others with the super missile. But no, no, no. Don't mind that. Let's trade twice the same missile. The difference, the ice one is more OP, and you get it later in the game. So, later in the game, you don't even have super missile anymore, they are just ice missile. And another item very interesting, the storm missile. Reminds me of the Seeker missile in Prime 2. This is a good weapon. But here again, because of stupid aiming in this game, sometimes it's really hard to open some door with that storm missile. And I also wish when you use the storm missile, maybe they have ice capacity. I don't know. Maybe they would be too broken. I don't know. Now, I don't like what they did with the bombs. What do I mean by that? Well, we used to have in Prime 1 and 2 the spinball, and Dread decided, oh, you know what? Spinball is too much like Prime. It's too much like 2000. Let's make the bomb that push you. Amazing. I mean, a lot of times I missed my jump, and I was really pissed off and sad about that. And I really missed the spinball because the spinball was fun. These bombs that push you are not great. Now the normal bomb are fun. Because this is a classic, the morph ball bomb. This is a classic. This is fine, these are good. But the bombs that divide in like 4 balls. The last bomb you get before the power bomb. You know what I mean if you finish the game. These bombs, I don't know how to call them. They are not great. They don't replace the spinball. The spinball was much more fun. Now, I did rant enough about that. I must say, there's a block in the game. That block, I don't understand it, and there's something wrong. Because in each game, when you test out each weapon you have, at some point you find the right one to break the block. Well, in my case, I was not able to find how. So there are many objects, I know where they were. I just had no clue on how to get them, how to break the blocks. And at that point I was too tired about the game just to see on guides how they do it. Maybe it's me being lazy or tired, I don't know, I don't care. If you design your game this way and someone needs a guide to finish it, there's something wrong. Why don't you make all these thunder symbol I cannot break because I don't know how? Why don't you make them power bombs? It's much easier. Like power bombs, boom, no more. I can get my item. But no, they make it complicated. I still don't know how these blocks work. And most of the time, the spaces where these blocks are too small for a run. When you run very fast and break stuff. I don't know how to call it. Fast run, maybe flash run. I don't know. Supersonic boom. Yeah, supersonic boom it's not working on the Zor because you don't have enough space to run long enough. What else? I think I spoke a lot about the items in this game. I think the final point for items here is a positive one. The morph ball is amazing in this game. I must say it's amazing because it's so fluid, it's so easy to use it, and you can jump and get on the ledge and then morph ball into the hole, and this is very interesting. This makes the morph ball easier to use, and the spring ball being added to it so you can jump as a morph ball is also great. So I don't cry because I miss my jump with the bomb. These are great addition. But the spring ball was still part of Prime Trilogy, except if you play on the GameCube then it's different, but if you play on the Wii then you're able to jump when you use the spring ball. Now, that last one, the last element of items, it's the aiming. I know I spoke a bit about the aiming earlier, but the aiming in this game is shit. It's really shit, and it's really hard because a lot of time the game require you to have precise aiming. There's no auto lock, so this is really hard because sometimes you shoot a bit too up, a bit too down. You miss your targets, you're pissed off, you cry because you missed the MI when you charged your beam, so the MI kill you. Yeah, this is how the game works. You remember in Prime Trilogy, I keep speaking about it, because for me it's a masterpiece. In Prime Trilogy, there's something we call the lock mode. Especially when you play on GameCube, the aiming is amazing. Well, the control are not, but the aiming is. You just lock on the target and you keep shooting at it. So the aiming is good. Go to Metroid Dread. There's no lock. Yes, you can aim more precise by clicking on the one of the left bumper. I don't know which one. I think it's the Z or the R. I don't know. One of the two bumper on the left. You press it and you aim. But it's not accurate aiming because you still need to direct. There's no lock mode. It's just aiming mode. And this is really bad because the aiming in this game is atrocious. And I think I'm not the only one that spoke about that. Other reviewers probably spoke about that. And if you play the game, you probably know what I'm saying here. But now, the next elephant in the room, if we can say it that way, the suit. We only got 3 suits in this game. The normal suit you start off with, the Varia suit, and the Gravity suit. I don't really count the time you became the Metroid at the end, because it's too short. But I must say, the Gravity suit is giving so late in the game. So Burnia could have been one of the greatest level, one of the most amazing thing ever. It was not, because most of Burnia, you're slowed down by water. And this is frustrating and this is really annoying. But then you get the gravity suit and you're happy and you can jump around in the water and you're like, oh ho ho, I have the gravity suit. But the gravity suit, it comes so far in the game. It's one of the last few things you get. I think you get the gravity suit, then you get the screw attack, and then you get probably the wave beam and the bombs that push you. So it's one of the last few items, and this is very late in the game. Now my idea is maybe they could have done 4 suits instead of 3. First of all, you have the normal suit. Second, you have the Varia suit. And in the Varia suit, what they can do is allow you to go in lava. Because you need a gravity suit in the true game to go in lava. But I feel like the Varia suit should be the one that allows you to go in lava. So this means there's no huge backtracking at the end of the game. You can actually progress with the lava area pretty early in the game, and that could be great. And then the third suit would be the gravity suit. That is the one we got, but with a tweak. You get it earlier, but this one does not give us access to cold areas. You will need the cold suit after the gravity suit. So basically, you get the gravity suit to access the entire Burnia faster and not struggling in water. That could be interesting. And then you could beat, I don't know, a boss, something. Or you can search for a new item. And that last item would be the cold suit. And the cold suit would allow you to go in cold area as well. So you have 4 different suits. That could be more interesting than just doing 50% of the game with the Varya suit, 25% of the game with the gravity suit we got at the end. Because most of the game we get the Varya suit. Now I remember Metroid Prime. We started with the normal suit. We had the Varya suit. Then we had the gravity suit. Then we had the Phasm suit. We had 4 suits in Prime. And if you go to Prime 2, I think it's the same. You got the normal suit. I think after that it's the dark suit. And then it's the light suit. So Prime 2 has 3 suits, I think. I forgot how many exactly, but that's roughly the same as Dread. And Prime 3 I can't remember because as I said I did not finish the game. But Dread could have done like 4 suits instead of 3. Now let's speak up to another elephant in the room. I forgot if I mentioned it in the level part, but if I did not, well, the way they designed the game, there's a lot of post-game item search, if we can call it that way. And this is really sad because most of these items you won't even need them. You won't even use them. Because the final boss, all he wants is parries. So, the endgame exploration, I did it the best I could. I enjoyed it, but I felt like this could have been done during the game. If they made the game better. And I will also mention this, the teleporters, that should be on the level part. So, this segment here is clearly in level design. The teleporters. What do I think about them? It's confusing. The map is confusing. Like they really should make it on a way that the teleporters give you option to teleport to any other teleporters you found. And that would be much better and not confusing at all. Because the map is confusing in this game. In the Prime Trilogy, especially in Prime 1 and 2, the map was pretty clear. When you had a black door, the door was black. So you needed the dark beam. If the door was white, you needed the light beam. If the door was yellow, you needed the super missile. If the door was blue, you needed the normal beam. It's the same thing with Prime. The map was more clear in Prime. So this map in Dread, I kept looking at it because I was confused. With Dread, I was confused a lot of times. So, yeah. Next point. Next up, the difficulty of the game. Most of YouTube will agree with this. This is a very hard game. One of the hardest in the series. Now, this is crazy. The difficulty is so high in this game. I don't want to try the hard mode. Now, how to fix this? Well, you make easy mode for any casual player, and you also give the normal mode. So when you start the game, you choose between easy or normal. And then some veteran will say, oh, let's start right away for normal. And then they will have their challenge with normal. And then you add up hard for people to have their true challenge. Even if I feel like normal mode was already challenging enough. Me, I was frustrating most of the game because the game was so hard. The boss fights, especially this boss fight, were so hard. I cannot imagine the hard mode. The hard mode looks too painful for me to try it. There's no balance. There is no balance. And this leads to the next point. The boss fights. What can I say about the boss fights? Too many Chozo robots, too many warrior, too many soldier. I don't know how you call them. There's like 8 of them when they could have simply done 4 of them. Like the first one with the lance, the second one with the shield, and then the first one with the beam and the sword, and the second one would be the twin. So you could like remove 4 robots from Chozo and only have 4. Because I'm pretty sure we had like 8 fights with them. 2 fights with the twin, 2 fights with one normal, 3 fights with Lance, 1 fight with normal. Each time I was seeing one of them, I was pissed off because these were not giving any power-ups. Well, most of the time, I don't remember one of them giving a power-up. So I was just frustrated because it was a struggle to face them off. And especially the last one, I was about to break my game, I was about to stop playing the game. Even if I knew that was the last one, I was about to give up on the game. Now that leads to an elephant in the room. The damage pool of the bosses. Keep in mind, there's no easy mode, it's only normal mode. And guess what? Most of the bosses, outside of the first one, each hit they give you, remove away 1 or 2 energy tank at a time. So this means if you don't collect each single energy tank, you die really fast. And it's even worse if you don't have all energy tanks. And if you have all of the energy tank you should have, guess what? You still die very fast. Most of the boss will kill you in 3 or 4 hits. Most of the boss are really long with several phases. 2, 3 phases, sometimes 4. It's just crazy how long some of these bosses are. And most of the time you need to do the same thing. And another issue with the bosses, you don't see their HP. So you don't know when you will kill them. Now go to Prime Trilogy, you see the health bar, the HP. And you're like, oh okay, I'm about to kill him, so I'm motivated. But here, you don't know. You don't know when you will shift to another phase. You're like, I will just kill him when I will be able to kill him. And this is wrong. Because you see your energy dropping, but you don't feel that the enemy is dropping as well. So sometimes it's discouraging. You're like, why should I keep going? Like, just kill me. I don't even know if I'm about to kill you. And experiment took me an hour. A damn hour. Are you kidding me? That's one of the last few bosses. There's another one underwater. I feel like with the gravity suit, that boss would be more fun. But it was very frustrating because you had no gravity suit. It's the first boss in Burnia, I think. And at that point, when I played and I fought that boss, I was sure that boss was giving me the gravity suit. But the boss gave me nothing. So you just beat the boss. You're proud. You're like, where's my reward? You got none. You just go to another part, another level on the game. And you're like, I suffered for an hour over this boss. And I get nothing for it? Well, good game, right? Now I need to point out another elephant in the room. The parries. Most of the boss wants you to parry. In some bosses, they have different window, and some window are so small. Sometimes it's shiny, but you don't realize it because the entire screen shine, and then you die. Because when they hit you, they remove you like 2, 3 energy tank. This is crazy. This is disgusting. This is frustrating. You want to break your switch. And I will be honest there. I consider I finished the game even if I did not really finish the game. I arrived at the final boss and I didn't want to fight him. You know why? Uh, I've seen other gameplays of the game, and the final boss is all about parries. And I hate parries, so to not get frustrated, I did not fight the final boss. I know it's cheap, and some of you will tell me, oh, you did not finish the game. Yes, I did. If I did everything except the final boss, I finished the game in my own opinion. And parries, 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 parries. It can be cool to kill enemies with it, but when each single boss fight wants you to parry at some point, and some of these bosses you cannot kill them without parry, this is dumb. It's the same thing for the Chozo, Soldier, Warrior, call them the way you want it. Some of them, well, all of them, if you don't parry, you cannot kill them. And this makes no sense. This is frustrating as well, because the window is so small. You screw up and yeah, you just wasted your time and you will die again. Just because of the parry. The last soldier almost made me give up on the game, because I could not get that window. And I was so happy when I was able to defeat him. I was like, oh yeah! So parry is not very fun. As a whole, it's very interesting mechanic to explore with smaller enemies, but when each of your bosses require parries, it loses its charm. If you say, okay, out of the 10 bosses, 2 of them will ask you to parry, then it's fine. But if each single one tells you parry, 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 I think the only 5 boss out of maybe 15, the only 5 one we did not need really parry is uh, Raid, the beasts early in the game with the dart that gives you the Phantom Cloak, and 3 Chozo creatures. But all the other ones, and the boss fight in the water as well. So all of the other bosses, they want you to parry. If you don't parry them, you won't beat them. It's the same goes for the emmis. This is probably my next point. The emmis are stupid, and you can't really parry them. This is very sad, and I know what Adams told us. Don't try to parry them, try to run away. But some of them just want to hug you, and there's no way to run away. And now, the emmis. Hell yeah. A very spicy to pick if you want my opinion on it. The emmis. Early in the game, they are frustrating. Later on the game, they are even worse. If you like challenge, you will like emmis. If you like tension and stress, you will like emmis. If you like repetitive stuff and tasks, you will like emmis. If you don't like anything I mentioned earlier, you will truly hate this game. Because there are emmis in most of the levels. Well, all the levels has emmis. Except Elon, I think. And the last emmi is killed on a cutscene, and I really like that because I did not have to deal with him. But anyway, in most of the game, you deal with emmis. There's a lot of back and forth in their area with them around. And this was frustrating. Maybe I was not playing the game right because, as I said, I was confused in a lot of levels. But this does not remove the fact that There's a lot of back and forth in these MI's room. Now I must say something about MIs. Each single MI is the same shit, different pattern. And it's frustrating. Frustrating. I was crying. I was about to give up on the game. Many times I wanted to break my Switch. So basically, when you can't or when you don't have the power-ups to kill the MIs, you cannot access the Unity room. So you cannot kill them if you don't have the right equipment, the right upgrades. And this is frustrating. I must say, this is frustrating. You see, MIs goes this way. You meet them, you run away. Then you need to go back in their room to access another part of the map. And then you need to go back again just to go shut down the units. Once you kill the units, you can kill the MI. This is the same thing over and over again. Now, the final MI is busted, annoying. I was crying. I did hate a lot this last MI. It was able to see through walls. They are not broken enough. They need to see through walls. And yeah, I was frustrated. And not just that. They hear you. The Phantom Cloak makes you slower. So you cannot really run away from them. And in the last MI, they had the brilliant idea to add more challenge to the already challenging part of the MI. You had 3 walls to destroy with your beam. And guess what? When you charge up your beam, the MI hears you. He's like, oh, I can hear you. I will go meet you. So just to access the unit of the final MI, it was challenging. It was annoying. I cried. I was pissed off. I was about to give up on the game. I rant a lot. You'll see. Now each MI fight goes the same way. Different pattern, same way. My favorite one was the last one. Because this one was very different. It was frustrating to get to the unit. I really ate the last ME to get the unit. But once we got the unit, that MI was interesting because they tweaked the fight a bit. And they made it in a race to the end. In this aspect, I liked it. Even if during the playthrough I was pissed off, when I think about it, that was original. They had a good idea. And the fact that at the end of the race, you are at the perfect spot to kill him is also another good thing about the final MIs. But anyway, most of the time, because of the shit aiming, it's really hard for you to shoot the shell of the MI. Because each MI goes the same. You shoot the shell, then you charge a super beam, and then you blow up the head. But the shell part is always hell to do. It's so hard to find the right spot. One of the MI I was circling around for like 5 minutes until I gave up and watched on YouTube while they do it. But I circled around because I had no idea how to kill the shell. Because the shell, if you're not fast enough, if you don't pressure enough the shell, it will regenerate itself. So just shooting the shell is not enough. So MIs are repetitive, the aiming is shit in this game. If I had the auto lock mode, trust me, MIs won't be that painful. You auto aim the head, you shell him, and then you auto headshot with the super ball. Super beam, anyway. The MIs I did not enjoy. Lots of people enjoyed, lots of people did not, and I can understand both sides. If you like tension, if you like stealth, well, it's good. Me, I personally like stealth, but it's not true stealth if the MIs can see you through walls like the last one, if he can hear you the moment you enter in the room, or if you cannot really hide without the Phantom Cloak. And even with the Phantom Cloak, because you cannot use it very long, because the more you move, the faster you lose it. Well, even with the Phantom Cloak, you cannot really be stealthy. It's really hard to be stealthy on a game they don't focus on stealth. Now, about my plan I first had, I would speak a bit about the story here, but the reveal at the end that we are the Metroid is pretty much the most essential thing about the story, and this is very interesting. And gameplay wise, this is probably fun. I don't know, I haven't tried, but when you're Hyper Beam and you kill that monster with the Hyper Beam, it looks fun. When you run away from the planet, it looks fun as well. So, here is my conclusion. Is it fun? Not for me. Is it a good game? Yes. Now, just like my short review, I may say quality-wise, this game deserves 8 out of 10. But here I will give you my true grade and my deep thought in what I truly think about this game. 4 out of 10. This is my honest grade. And it's not because the game is bad. It's because I had no fun. Now, exploration was fun. Most of the game was fun. But the part I did not like makes me run away from this game. I don't want to replay this game for now. Maybe one day I will. Maybe I will see even harder Metroid in the future and complain even more about future games and come back to this one and be like, oh yeah, this one's not that bad. We will see. Only the future will tell. As I said, this is a good game. This is not a bad game. This is just my own opinion. If you get a 4 out of 10, this means you don't want to play this game anymore, and I don't want to play this game anymore. Of course, more content about this game will come here because I still like the parts of the game I like a lot. The game as a whole, I did not enjoy the boss fight. I did not enjoy the emmis. The difficulty was too high. The item search could be better. The level could be better. The music could be better. Everything could be better in my own opinion. This means it's a bad game? No. This means it's just not a game for me. And I will tell you this. Get the game if you want Prime 4. Show Nintendo Metroid is popular. Show love to Metroid. Even if I'm really hard in this game, maybe you will enjoy it more than me. We are different. We are humans, you know. So this is the way it is. So I will also say more content will come if I have a friend that is willing to be part of these videos. He will do a part 14 where he will get me the missing items if he can get all of the missing items. Well, he will at least progress further the game than what I did. And then maybe we will have a part 15 where he will take on the final boss if he's willing to. Because I know I don't want to take on the final boss. So what's up next with Metroid and me? Well, right now I am currently doing Metroid Prime, a let's play of it. Once the 9 parts are ready, I will publish the 9 parts. I don't know when they will come, but once you got part 1, this means each single day that will follow part 1 will have a new part in it until the game is done. So I will have 9 parts. So far I recorded 6 parts. So I'm about to start the 7th part of Prime. Once I'm done with Prime, I will play Prime 2. And now if after I'm done with Prime 2 I find a Wii mode somewhere, if I'm lucky enough, well, I will play Other End. And I will play probably some Prime 3. Try again to give the game a second shot. Because Prime 3 looks amazing. So we will also once my friend has played more Dread. Uh, I will be doing a expansion video, uh, like probably for each level. You will see each level, each expansion, if my friend is able, at the point where we are able to unlock all items. I don't know if he can, we will see if he can. So that's it. Overall, I think Dread is a good game. It was not for me, that's the thing. So how would I rank this Metroid game among the Metroid I played? It will be higher than any Metroid I never finished, so it's higher than Prime 3 for sure. It's higher than the original 4 Metroids, so Fusion, Super, Return, and the first one. The 4 I mentioned are below Dread because I did not own the game and I never finished the game. So Dread, in my own opinion, is probably at at the fifth on the bottom, 4 out of 10. Then goes Other M, 5 out of 10. Then goes Prime 1. Prime 1, I need to rethink about it since I did not really finish the game. But without too much thinking, I would probably give Prime 8 out of 10. And I think Prime 2 is a masterpiece. Prime 2 is probably 9.5 out of 10. So this is only to give you an idea of my ranking. So I hope you guys enjoyed. More Metroid content in the way will come. I hope you guys will enjoy. Like, comment, and subscribe. We will see each other in future video. Have a great day.